Hello, and today we're going to paint a Thai Airways 737-400, but since I only have a Boeing 737-700 series, I will adapt it, which is not that different. This is a template that I purchased from noribo.com, and this is a flat version, which is cheaper. What I did actually is separate various elements in Photoshop, masking out areas like tails and separate it into different layers, and the wings and the engine and the cockpit and the windows and the doors. So let's move it. And this is my version after adding highlights and etc. And I have the layers separated. For example, if I go to tails, you see I separate different areas. So if I go to the cockpit and see I added the stuff, I edited, so windows, let's see if it, windows behind the wings and the engine, separated. Even the wingtip or the wings are separate. This was done later in Photoshop. It's not that difficult. Just a little time spent with masking and copying into other layers. So first, if we want to use this image as a reference. This is an image I found on the internet. And it's the old livery painting of Thai. I always have a newer and, in my opinion, less than stellar livery, and I decided I want to do this one. I like the classics, which has a stripe crossing the fuselage, etc. So I have this image in Photoshop, and next we're going to search for the logos. I usually don't paint the logos, I just copy them from the internet and edit them. In scarce cases I did paint, like the Alaska Airways, that I wanted to paint it. Also it was new and decided that it was a challenge for me. But yeah, most cases I just used logos and airlines names from the Google. So if I search Thai Airways logo, you can see that we have many versions, and this one is the version that I'm looking for, since it's the old version. So let's see, I click and copy. I could have copied directly from Google, so let's go into my template and Control V, and I have this logo. And first I'm going to it's a very low grade copy. Let's search if we have better quality. Logo. So this one is not an issue because we have text which is used. Oh, this one is a very big file, so I may use this text. Oh, let's do it the other way. I can just copy, print screen, and copy it into my clipboard and then paste it, and as you can see it's very good in quality. So let's keep this one just for reference, and I am going to select this text. I'm going to sample the color, and sorry, I am going to paint, but opacity was down, so I'm going to In most cases you will find logos at high quality which will fit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control Invert and delete the rest, and also I'm going to delete this black and white version. I'm going to move this first. I'm going also to copy this boeing into my document, and I close this one since I don't get it here. The reason is that it is much easier to work with the reference if it's inside the document itself. So I'm going to move it to the background, and so I can see it's clearer. So let's convert it to Smart Object and move it. Let's open it before and try to trim it. No, it didn't. So crop. Close it, accept, and the reason I converted to Smart Object is that I can resize it and over without destroying the quality of the logo. So I'm going to move it about here. The windows do not match, of course. Every airline may decide to use a different layout and size, so the windows may be or may not be closed. I will move it in front of the engine a bit, and a bit above this area. I think it can be a little smaller, a bit smaller. And now we'll move it down in the layer, so it's where I use my below the highlight layers. And so next, of course, I'm going to ignore this one. So, oops, sorry. Move this one. If you want to know how I chose this object, I just Control and click, and Photoshop will allow me, in many cases, select. So if I move something here, see, it's not the logo. And if I Control click, you see there is a pink frame when I'm selecting it, and I can move it. And let's go and find a better logo. And again, let's use the reference. For the colors, so yeah, this one is a good one, I think, or maybe a small one. This one looks better. It's much higher quality resolution. I mean, copy, back to Photoshop, maximize, and paste. Since the text is not the same font, I'm just going to delete it and just use. Okay, and I'm going to convert this one as well to Smart Object, and I'm going to copy it to the wing. Obviously this image is an old image, and it was taken in a less than stellar conditions. I will, however, I may change the color from yellow to gold, since this is the real color. Now I'm going to copy and move a clone, and as you can see, this logo, tail logo, is a bit skewed. So I'm going to right click and skew. And enter, press enter, and now I can resize it already skewed and try to match the location. Now I'm going to sample the color, which is this one. I'll give it a bit more light, and I'm going to enter this converted. Let's see if it matches. Yeah, looks better. And now I'm going to move this logo to the tail area. Which is about here. And since I already have my highlights layers, it will adapt and be influenced because it is below those layers. So leave it for now, and let's go back to this color, that logo. I'm going to drag it down to where the fuselage layers are, and just below or above the logo name. So as you can see, the highlight may be too aggressive. We may try to change it later. And I think this is a good size. Now, as you can see, there is no window right beside the door, so I may choose to delete it, 1 or 2. That's the side we delete 2. So going back to Windows, I'm not going to delete it, I'm just going to use a masking so it's not destructive. So now we have more than one window layer, so let's delete it. See, there is one for the windows and one for the frames. And I'm going Windows copy. I'm going to apply a mask and also try to delete it. Wait, no, this is not the correct layer. Let's see. Windows frame glass. Okay, this is the one. So I'm going to just paint in black over those. Not working, so I guess there is another layer. This one. Okay, the layer frames. So maybe I should just move this masking, and voila. Now I'm going to save the file, and now I'm going to be doing stripes. So I'm going to, this one isn't easy to do because it doesn't have curves or something, just straight horizontal frame. So I'm going to sample this color, and I'm going to create a shape which will have automatic fill or not. This one is the color. This is the color that I need. And now the shape should be a bit thicker, more like this. And I'm going to move it to the fuselage, and since the windows are above, when I place it in the right location, it will be hidden by them, and so I can see both the highlights and the windows. And so we can drag this one up to here, and I want the stripe to end when the fuselage is to be masked, so I'm just going to copy this mask onto it, and if I want it to adapt to the, or show the lines beneath and the doors, I just have to go to the multiply blend mode, and you can see that you can see the line and everything that was beneath it, shadow, etc. I may want to play with opacity, but not now. And now let's move it a bit to down, and now what I can do, since I have two horizontal lines enveloping this stain, I'm going to use shape border so that it has the correct border, and now we have it. The only thing we have to do is just resize or thicken it, so maybe a bit more, 8 pixels. Yeah, and also I'm going to thicken it more, and move it more or less so it's symmetrically placed. And one more thing to do, I'm going to have to change this pink color to that. So I'm going to select the text, or right click and try to identify the layer. Yeah, this is the one. I'll rename thigh name, and I'm going to open it. I'm going to mask the pixels, so you can only paint with pixels, and I'm going to either Alt backspace and fill it with a color. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it a bit and flatten it so it's less tall in its properties. So I think it is okay. Now I'm trying to identify Livery, and I just don't know. So moving down to the HSTDH registration number, so HSTDH, and I'm going to match the color. It should be either black or yeah, let me use this one, and voila. No, it's too opaque, so I'm going to change opacity, move it way beyond the door, and also I'm going to move this Boeing 37 to where it belongs. Now this is a font that you can search in Google, and it's called Boeing font, and let's place it about here, and I'm going to change color to this pink, and it seems that to have a very low opacity, so I'm going to raise it to 100. Let's save the file. So logo wise we're good. Registration number, Boeing, tie. I am not going to put the love maybe later, but it's an easy task, so we don't have to see it on the tutorial. Next thing to do is the tail. So as you can see, we have a black nose up about. So I'm going to go here where the fuselage colors are, create a new layer. I'm going to quickly create a mask and just paint it with an almost black color. And going to now it's not black, so what I'm going to do is place it above the reflection, maybe down below. No, this one is way too strong, so I'm going to just change to multiply, maybe reduce to 90 or 80, since it should have transparency. So now we're looking for the SkyTeam logo, and I may have one logo. No, this one is the SkyTeam. And then the other one, I'll pause the video and I will look for this logo. Be back in a minute. So here we are, and I didn't remember the name of the group, so the name is Star Alliance. I'm going to select this one since it's good enough. Copy image and back to our file. It should be placed here, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert it into a smart object. And oh wait, I'm going to go into it and select white. Delete and close. Now I'm going to resize. It's really quite small. Smaller, much smaller. And now we have it. So next one is this crowd. So let's search for the King's 70th celebration. Maybe there is one. Let's see if there is a logo or something. If we find it, good. If not, we'll leave it out. So it's not that important. No, there is nothing that may help us. I don't see any logo which would match what we have. So now the last thing to do, add the flag. So flag island, and let's see how it is there. Should be dark, so I'm going to copy and sorry, didn't copy it. Let's click and copy and try. Now we have it. So also going to where the tails are, more or less like here, name it flag, and you can see it disappeared because it's now clipped by the tail. So I'm going to first resize it. It's about 1/3 of the width, and of course we're going to skew. And let's resize it a bit more and use match the multiply blend mode and move it. So so we're done with most of the things. We have no wingtips. I could have added the logo, but we'll leave it here. And the only thing left is this pink stripe, and this will be the color. So let's create another shape, which may or may not be I can't see. So it's a flat, no effect, no blend modes, no nothing, no gradation, just a pink, plain pink stripe. And first we're going to sample the color, and now we're going to select it from the list. And now the reason I'm not seeing it is because the layer was inserted in the tail area, which is clipped only by the tail. So I'm going to move it here, and now I'm going to drag it to the left, to the right, sorry. And I'm going to resize it a bit. Move it. Now let's try blend modes. They have a, see, this one is less bright, or we can maybe opacity a bit. Yeah, I think it's good. No, let's leave it 85. I forgot to clip this stripe, so I'm going to rectangle. I'm going to drag this on the end, and last thing that I should do is hide this background image. And also I have a solid color layer that I may or may not use, and I choose the color. So let's leave it at this gray and save it, and use it and pass it to Facebook or whatever. Please note that I have my watermark here, which is almost invisible, but it's still enough to avoid stealing and this is the way I keep my copyright. So thank you very much, and I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. Goodbye.